What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Wrestling Junkies podcast. I'm Eric, Mr. Cincinnati Robinson. As always, I'm joined by the podcast dad himself, Chris Hoops. Choops, how we doing,
Hey,
buddy?
man, you got to be nice to Johnny. He's blown me up today. You need to be nice. I heard we had a.
I'll be nice to him when he's nice to Bill. Like, no. You can miss me with Chris. You can miss me with this bullshit because I'm not doing it.
I made an executive decision.
I hear you. You don't get to do that. This is a team effort here. I don't know why we're doing this.
Bill is no longer with the company, so we will see.
Oh, that won't stand.
It's already happened. It's already happened, pal.
No, but it won't stand.
I'm Vince McMahon. You're Triple H. Just remember that. Big decisions. You handle the day-to-day, big decisions.
I'm sorry. What in the action did you just say to me?
I'd rather be Triple H at this point. I'm not on the high-risk list.
Yeah, you think no? Okay, all right, fine. Whatever. Let's take it back down to like a 3. We started at like an 11 here. We angry. I'm not angry. I'm defensive of our employees that are being berated by their talent. You're not paying attention to what happens at TV shows and that's why Ellen ended. Whatever. Anyway, thanks so much for joining us for this episode. Remember to hit that QR code in the top left corner. Like, share, subscribe. Help us to get those numbers up. We have a brand new Stump the Smart that just dropped today. We managed to mention Hank Hill and Stone Cold Steve Austin within the same episode. I'm pretty proud of us for the efforts. Well, I'm pretty proud of me because I
day to day, big picture.
Anywho, you ready for your fix?
As always.
Well, NXT is officially in the books. This is the first NXT away from. What are you doing?
I'm still here.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm gonna turn my fan on, man. It's hot in this room.
Anyway, okay. So NXT is in the books. 1 week removed from Halloween Havoc. There was quite a bit within this episode here that's worth breaking down. As always, we are not going to get into each particular match result. You can enjoy those on our lovely ticker below the screen. But I just want to get through a lot of the talking points. First things first, because it opened the show, Akira Tozawa in the Heritage Cup Championship match. Let's just start there because we talked during NXT last night. And what did I say to you?
I don't remember.
Okay, well, to jog your memory, this is one of Akira Tozawa's best matches probably since the Cruiserweight Classic.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had a lot of talk about superstars that are not being used and kind of, I know that you were not a fan of Akira Tozawa in Alpha Academy, but Alpha Academy and being a part of that group has gotten him a headline match on Raw, headline match on NXT. I don't see what the problem is.
I don't know about headline, but yes, he's been advertised. I'm okay with it.
Okay, it's a champion. He had a championship match on NXT and then fought a former Intercontinental Champion, former NXT Champion, future Hall of Famer Shinsuke Nakamura, if I need to clarify.
It was for the Heritage Cup. It's not a championship, pal.
It's not a championship.
It's a championship. It's a cup. So,
well,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Nope. Floor is all yours.
I don't dislike Akira Tozawa. I like Akira Tozawa. I think he's a really, really good wrestler. My only hang up with Akira Tozawa is just the funk of the 24/7 championship. And it is going to take a lot of rehab to get that away from him. I think they're working on it. I think they're doing a good job with that. But it's still going to take me a minute to not see him running around in a ninja costume with Omos. Like, it's going to take me a second. And that's it. You just talked about it on an article that you're going to send me. Bad booking lasts. And that was really, really bad booking. And yeah, I mean, it's just going to take me a second. He had a great match last night. Like you said, probably the best since the Cruiserweight Classic, which bring back the Cruiserweight division, please. But, oh no, dude, they were having really good matches towards the end. I'm okay with bring back the Cruiserweight division.
We'll save that for another time. No,
we're going to go into it right now.
Classic, make Tara Women's champion. I don't know that I don't necessarily know that I want to see any more like outside tournaments again just yet. I mean, they have a spectacular roster of people that are still clamoring for TV time. Use them first. Figure out what to do with them first before we say, "Hey, we're going to do this other tournament, bring in other names and things of that nature." Okay.
I'm talking about just bringing the title back. Bring the Cruiserweight title back. Okay. I loved it in NXT. You can't tell me Swerve and Escobar didn't have great matches.
They were, but I don't know. That's just not a division that I'm dying to have back on my TV again. At least for me anyway, I feel like that was something that used to be a relic of a different generation that we don't necessarily need here.
Tell AEW that.
Tony, I don't think we really need that division.
No, well, that's his whole roster.
Happy.
So,
well, okay, it's not my fault. He is a flippy floppy,
well, we got Big Show tonight, so we'll get to that.
enthuse. That's next week, and I don't.
That's next week. Okay, but yeah. Anyway, like Tozawa, the rehab is on. I like what they're doing with him, trying to make him a little bit more serious. He still got his silly little dance, and that's fine. But, it is what it is for me right now. If he gets some big wins, I'll be happy about it. You see, every match he's still losing, so it's not like that stink is rubbing off. And I'm done with Akira Tozawa at this point. Right now, what I want to talk about.
But look at how he lost last night.
Okay.
And we'll get there, but look at how he lost last night.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, it was competitive.
So, I mean, yeah, Dar used the tights, but he tapped out Dar, and then it was interference from Metaphor that made all the difference in that match. So let's just not say that the rebuild isn't on because
it is.
They can rebuild.
I think the rebuild's on. I just don't. We're in the very, very early stages of it, and let's see how they follow up because I don't want them to get to this point and then they get bored, right? Because it's happened before.
Fair. I don't necessarily see that being the case with Alpha Academy. I like it.
Maybe I will agree at a later date, which I always have the right to change my opinion.
Usually does.
So.
You do. You do have that right, and you usually do eventually. Chelsea.
Okay, you have one example.
Yeah.
One. You have.
It's also read about War Games.
No. Hold on now.
Grayson Waller.
Okay, you were right about him. But don't say War Games because I always love War Games. I wasn't not on board.
I know that you do, but you didn't think it was going to happen this year, and you kept telling me to stop trying to make fetch happen. All right.
I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about.
Damn it! I'm not wearing pink today. Anyway,
I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about.
Floor is yours.
How do we feel about Lexus King inserting himself in the Carmelo Trick Williams feud?
God, we have to do that now.
Yes, we do. That is the biggest thing in NXT.
That was the last.
I don't care.
Segment, and
I want to talk about it now.
You can't wait until
we talk about it now. How do we feel about it? Because I'll tell you how I feel.
He looked outmatched and outclassed in every sense of the word on the microphone with those two.
His promo sucked.
Like it was like I don't get why he did that. I know that and I think that for me. Here's kind of how I see this because I had no problem with them keeping him off of night 2 of Halloween Havoc minus the backstage pre-tape and kind of what's next for him. I would have saved that for this week and had him come out and see what it is that we have, that what he can do as far as a live microphone and a crowd to work with. I guess I admire the attempt to try to insert himself into what will be a large story for NXT that says a lot about what they would like for him to be. But this is not a guy that got a whole lot of on the mic in AEW because they're not necessarily a very promo heavy company in the manner that WWE is. This for me personally just didn't work. Didn't work. I don't know where it's going to go, and I'm going to wait and see, but I don't think that he needs to be involved in this rivalry by any means.
No, he doesn't. And his promo sounded canned as hell. Like, it sounded like he was reading off a script. And it wasn't good. And like you said, he just looked way out of place. It is too soon for him to be involved in your big main event feud. I don't get it. I don't know what they're doing. It almost seems like he did attack Trick, and maybe that's his role in NXT, as he's the disruptor, he's the chaos backstage, or whatever it is. I just swing and a miss. Don't like it.
If they wanted to disrupt, and this is just me spitballing off the cuff, if we have to talk about this, I would if I and also shout out to Dylan at the Last Week in Wrestling podcast hanging out with us here tonight. Good to see you, buddy. But this is something that I would have said, okay, let's put him behind the NXT Anonymous account. Let's let him be the guy that has been catching all of this and, kind of overseeing all this chaos. He's the eyes and ears of NXT, and that would explain why it took them so long. At least, if we want to inject a little logic into this, can use that to explain why it took him so long to actually appear on TV. But to have just, thrown him into the deep end and feed him to the wolves, hoping that he'll come back leading the pack, that didn't happen last night.
No, I didn't like it. I think you need to have this Trick Mello feud. Maybe that's the way they extend it to Stand and Deliver. I don't know, but I just
That final camera shot, though,
yeah. But like obviously,
that was mellow dead eyeing in
like we're
there.
still
Yeah,
gonna get to it. I just don't like the speed bump.
I know.
I don't think it's necessary. Like I think
No,
there's
it's
other
not.
ways to do this and put them both in the Iron Survivor, and that's another wrinkle into it. I
No,
don't need this. I don't need Lexus
and
King in it.
even if you want him to do, even if you wanted to have somebody involved in this Trick Mello story, if they just want somebody, why is he the guy?
No.
I think that's the big question. That's the questions that we need answers to is why this particular person, other than he's just debuting. We want to make sure that we get him hot at the right time, but that was
It was rough.
that was a bold move, and it did
It
not
didn't work.
work. At least not
No,
for
it
me.
didn't work. It didn't work. You want to talk about Tiffany Stratton and Darby Allen? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Fallon Henley. Sorry about that.
It took me a second, and then literally it just like came screaming back, that spot of her just getting like, and even as I was getting ready to text you that last night, I'm typing this thing, and he's like, he's probably gonna think this is like the stupidest bump ever. And then I'm glad that you texted me back and said that you saw it, because I mean she literally just sack of potatoes like just right out of the ring onto like back bump out to the
Ow.
floor from several feet up. It's just,
Ow.
yeah.
You don't have to do it on the weekly
Yeah.
television. It's okay. It's okay, guys.
No, no, that's yeah. Tell that to Tony. But Tiffany Stratton advances to the Iron Survivor match in December. I don't think anybody's really surprised at this one.
No, I may be a little surprised that she's still in NXT, but no, you have her
That's
involved
fair.
in this. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's not to say that Fallon Henley won't necessarily have her moments. I mean, I personally enjoy her work, and I think that she is improving. It's I don't know. I just really like the character because, one, I'm a huge Letterkenny guy, so she reminds me a lot of Katie. And it's like, all right, cool. That's a nice gimmick to have. And when it comes to her, Brooke Jensen, Josh Briggs, they're all kind of just treading water, middle of the pack. They're not bad wrestlers by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm not necessarily ready to see them kind of climb to that upper echelon of like they are a tag team is always going to be in the tag team title conversation. Fallon Henley, as far as somebody being in the women's championship conversation, all the time.
Yeah.
But
No,
that's just me. Give it time though.
Yeah, they're not. I don't think they're ready to make that jump to weekly television quite yet. Give me
No,
Roxanne
no,
Perez
no.
and Lola Vice. I think that is a great first feud for Lola Vice. Going to prove to
Yes.
see what we have. I don't know if you had any more thoughts on that. I just wanted to mention it.
Not really. I mean, we knew that this was going to be her
Yeah.
time. Again, I would have loved to see Kalani Jordan win this, but these are sorts of things that heels win, which is what it is. But yeah, Roxanne, being the prodigy that she is, as experienced as she is, she's going to get a great match out of Lola. I don't necessarily see this being a concern or anything like that. I think I'm still just kind of in that. I know what names I want to see go to the main roster. I'm just ready for it because we're so preconditioned to having them at certain times. But now there's just kind of a free for all. Lawlessness happens when it happens. No, this is perfectly fine. I think they do need to establish Lola Vice as far as 2024 goes, because Lyra needs some challengers, and we have one that we'll talk about here in a second that has kind of shown up and said I got next. But yeah, this is fine. I think it'll be a great match.
Let's talk about it now. She's everywhere, man, and
So
Bob H
for
wants
her.
to see what he's got. So I like it. I like that Xia Li
Yeah,
is just kind of everywhere at the moment.
as she should be.
No,
Yeah,
that'll be
I
a good
mean,
match.
she's yeah, absolutely, and with Xia Li, especially because they have had her, within the past week, mix it up with Candice LeRae, Becky Lynch, now Lyra. This is another one of those names that I'm glad that he's finally kind of looking at. Okay, here are all the toys that I have on the shelf. Let me see, let's get reacquainted with some of them. And Xia Li is a perfect person to do that because she has been away from TV so long. I mean, she's essentially a fresh name to the audience and the roster, and there is not that worry of a rebuild or a rehabilitation like we have seen with Zoe Stark, Raquel, Shannon Baszler, like the names that we saw in the infamous Fatal 5-Way with the Tap of Doom. It just
Yeah.
it was such a bad
It was a really, really bad spot. 3 more quick things, and then we'll move on to AEW because I want to give them some time. Braun Breaker, and as you have on there, Vin Wagner.
Yeah.
I think that about sums it up. I'm done with this feud. I'm ready to move on. I don't care about it anymore. Tyler Bate, please go to the main roster.
This doesn't benefit him.
No, it does not. Tyler Bate, please go to the main roster. I'm ready for that. Happy for Dijak to be in the match.
He's so overdue.
I want Bate on the main roster. And then my last thing that I want to get out, and then I'll let you have the floor, is what did Andre Chase make a deal of? Did you see that?
I did. I couldn't even begin to guess, man. I could not even begin to guess.
That's an interesting subplot.
I might have to think about that one, but that makes the inclusion of JC Jane into this group now that she knows whatever the situation is, it makes it that much more interesting because honestly, like she was hard to buy as being part of that group. JC is somebody that needs to be in a tag team or with a collective of people. I think for her to be believable because the single star run it hasn't worked. It just has not worked. It's along the same lines of Jakari Jackson and Lash Legend. Now that they are part of Metaphor, love them. JC Jane, I just don't see her as a single star.
That's fair. Any other thoughts on NXT before we preview AEW tonight?
Not really. Very solid episode.
Isn't that weird to say?
2 thumbs up. Fine
NXT is just solid. A solid wrestling program, and that's fantastic.
Plugging on. Oh, actually, one more thing. So there were a couple of teases last night. One of them, Ava walking into Shawn Michaels' office in between referee talking about the discretion during the Von Wagner match. I don't know. I think now that Schism is done, I'm intrigued to see kind of where she is in this pecking order and what they do see for her as a singles competitor or something that might be next for her. It was good to see her on TV. I've not really seen her wrestle all that much, and what I have seen, I haven't loved. I mean, she has. I can think of maybe once or twice that she has. I haven't loved every time that she has either. But we also don't watch Level Up on Fridays. I just do remember that being someone's job on the show that said that he would watch Level Up on Fridays and report back, and then he hasn't.
To be honest, I don't think she wrestles on that either. The most that I've seen is like the house shows that she's been on.
Well, you wouldn't know because you don't watch Level Up.
And I'm just gonna ignore everything you say. Yeah, she's got a lot of that's The Rock's daughter, so there's a lot of pressure on her, and I will be patient because I don't want to rush that, right? Just find your footing.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that it's one, find your footing, but two, I do want to see her do something that she can sink her teeth into. Because, Gacy was doing a lot of the ring leading when it came to that group. This wasn't a Judgment Day type faction where everybody is essentially, a singular thought working collectively, despite the 4 roots, 1 tree thing that they would, so constantly, impart upon us on TV every week. But yeah, I want to see something for her. I want to see them give her an opportunity.
It's fair. Anything else?
Yeah. Nope. Stocks made up.
I'm ready.
Yeah. So let me switch over our old ticker
here. There we go.
Because we got a lot that's been announced for tonight here. Keith Lee's finally getting something awesome.
Is he?
TV championship match with Samoa Joe. I'm intrigued. Okay. Well,
allergies, man. My allergies are on fire today.
No. Starting to think that you miss Bill and you're just talking off screen because you miss having Bill around. But anyway. Bill. Well, talking to me too. Let's not forget about that. But Molly Wop and Man Meat, dude. Like what? It's easy to get excited about this match. I know.
You have to make me care about. Is it going to be a good match? Sure, but I haven't cared about Keith Lee in a year and a half.
But sometimes that's all Dynamite is just when you get a good match. Let's just bask in the glory of the fact that we got a good match. Okay. Right.
Can you just
what Keith Lee can do in the ring is absolutely limitless, and I don't think that this will be any different.
Can we get the payoff with Swerve? You are waiting for the Andre Chase. You're waiting for the heel turn. I'm waiting for the finish to the feud, please. Where is it?
I think it's lost in the annals of history with that match 7 of best of 7 between Sheamus and Cesaro that Mick Foley ordered, and the winner gets a WWE
If
Championship
they
match.
had something, and that would be a huge win for Swerve. But they've lost all momentum. I don't care. This will be fine. I think Joe will win.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see if they show out.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen Keith Lee wrestle in a while, so it'll be fun to see him wrestle. I know he was on Collision, but don't watch that.
Fair. Let me. I want to see if you can wrap your head around this. There is a non-0% chance that after tonight, the Full Gear main event will be Daniel Garcia versus Mark Briscoe for the AEW World Championship. How do you feel about that?
If that happens, I will sell you my house for $1.
Okay.
You're telling me Full Gear main event is going to be Daniel Garcia and Mark Briscoe? No.
All that I'm saying is just based on what has been announced for tonight. Statistics say
it's a confusing subplot. I will say that. I don't know. Like, this feud just hasn't been fantastic, and
it had a lot of promise.
Yeah, they have two great wrestlers.
It's much like you said yesterday as we were talking about Sammy and the Money in the Bank briefcase. That was done after a few days. This has gone on entirely too long for me. I love Bullet Club Gold, but this is not the way to build a title match, at least for me.
No, I mean, it's not. It's not. You stole my title, so and I won't give it back until you give me a title shot. So using logic, right? And I know we're not supposed to do that.
No.
If I'm MJF, ding, 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 the bell rings. I kick him in the balls. I get it right. Just using logic. I mean,
yeah.
That's why this feud just doesn't. It hasn't clicked. It just hasn't clicked.
Now, and it's so disappointing because we had high hopes for Jay White and what he was going to do post New Japan run, because he was a very sought after free agent. Everybody wondered kind of what WWE might have in mind for him and where he would fit in with that roster. This is, I have not loved the build to this match. I know, you have made it very clear about how you feel about Max and how he should be presented as, yes, he is a world champion, but he's also a tag team champion. But they seem to be putting more emphasis on the Ring of Honor tag team championships and continuing to do that even in Adam Cole's absence. And yeah, it's getting real tough to watch.
See, my biggest issue is I think Jay White should have gone to WWE. I think it would have been a better fit over there. And I think Ospreay would have been. He hasn't signed anywhere, but I think Ospreay is a better fit for AEW rather than WWE. I think they should have, and part of that's WWE. I don't think they called back or whatever. I can't remember the story, but I highly doubt Triple H was like, no, I don't want him. Like, I think he is he's not the best in-ring worker in the world, and his pace is slower than what AEW has, right? He's a great worker. Yeah. And I know I just stomped all over my words, but like, his pace is just, he tells stories in the ring rather than go, go. And that's more WWE style.
And when you think about it, let's just take Jay White and the two, WWE, AEW here. What he's doing in AEW right now, Bullet Club Gold with Gun Club and Juice Robinson. He could have just as easily done the same thing over in WWE with AJ Styles, Gallows, and Anderson.
Yeah, probably would have been a lot better too. And I like Bullet Club Gold. I like what I'm getting out of that.
I do too. I mean, that they were a lot of the reason why I enjoyed Collision from the start, is because they were getting the chance to just wrestle and have great matches. And now that show has just
I mean, I'm sure they're gonna have a great match at Revolution. I'm sure it'll be Full Gear. Which one is it?
No.
Full Gear.
Full Gear.
I'm sure they will have a great match there. And I'm sure it'll be fine, and I'll eat my words because AEW does that all the time. But the build has stunk. Sting and Darby against the Outrunners. Who the hell are the Outrunners?
I don't know, but Sting and Darby are going to just go ahead and win. Sting has not lost a match since he's been in AEW. I don't see that starting now on the retirement tour.
He's wrestling on Collision too, isn't he?
Oh, God,
yeah.
Really?
I think he's like, do we see Ric Flair tonight? Because the last time I saw this stat on, I think it was, I still call it Twitter because I haven't updated my app. On Twitter was the last time Sting wrestled in the state of Oregon was against Ric Flair in like the 80s. Are we going to get Ric Flair tonight? I mean, he signed the 2-year deal. He's cleared to take bumps.
I mean, I guess. I don't know. I'm not necessarily clamoring for it. If you ask me if I think he'll show up, maybe. Sure. I don't care.
I don't care. Man. Okay. All right.
I mean, it's like I think for me, it's the I don't mind the aspect of him, having some nostalgia factor in the Sting retirement tour because it's absolutely warranted. It's absolutely warranted. That is Flair's Sting's greatest rival ever. Got no problem with there being some involvement in it. Do I think that this need to be something where he's signed to AEW for the next 2 years? Not really, because this would be the question that I have and alluded to it in a TikTok that I put together a couple of weeks ago. What the hell do you do with once Sting is retired? Like, who realistically, as you sit here right now, who would you put Ric Flair with? And it's, that'll immediately be a boost to that person by having Flair second him.
Wardlow. I don't know. I don't know. You could do the TNA AJ Styles thing and have him go with MJF. Guys, he left. He left. That's for those listening audio version. Eric has left the building because he's upset with what I suggested.
Yeah, because what you suggested was a complete piece of and I don't think that you should absolutely, I think you should just go back to the drawing board.
I didn't sign him to a 2-year deal, did I?
Well, actually, technically, neither did Tony Khan, so there's that.
So, what do you want me to do? I don't know what to do with him. I don't know what they do with him. They don't, like, I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't have signed him, so I don't know why.
The evolution of AEW is a mystery. Continue.
Timeless Tony Storm gets to sit down and do an interview. I'm excited about that.
I'm so happy. This is one I'm definitely hoping is with Tony and Sheeta, all three of them together, just because as much as I enjoy everything that she's doing with RJ City, I need to see how she plays off of other wrestlers in different situations. But, I mean, this is one of the best things going on in wrestling right now. She's just fabulous.
I wish it was with Jim Ross and not Tony Schiavone.
Why is that?
I think Jim Ross is very good at those backstage segments. I don't think he's great on a live mic, but I think those backstage segments, I think having Jim Ross kind of be that sit down interview type, almost like a Larry King kind of deal. Like, I think that would be a really cool spot for JR. Like, you could do it for the bigger matches, like the big like if they would have built it a little bit more, like an MJF Kenny Omega, you could have had a sit down segment with Jim Ross, a pre-produced one. Yeah. I think it would have been great, but I think that's a great role for Jim Ross to have, is kind of the old wily vet kind of asking the tough questions kind of thing. Produced, because I don't think he's great on the live mic.
Yeah, and I think that, now that you say that, I think that the quirky, frenetic energy that is Tony Storm's timeless character that would have played off of that very straight-laced dynamic very, very well. So, okay. You have redeemed yourself with that one, because those last couple of booking ideas you done.
You gave me you backed me into a corner. I had to say something.
Yeah, and you
can't just say fire him.
Any final notes on the day?
You're getting ready to fail here soon, pal. Hope you're ready. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, you wouldn't have the show without me. Again, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Hit that QR code in the top left corner. Like, share, subscribe. Help us to get those numbers up. We're almost to 60 wrestlers on YouTube. He's gone and disappeared here for a second. New at the Smart is indeed available now. Podcast that. Any final thoughts on your end tonight?
No.
All right, that being said, that's the podcast, Adam. Thanks so much for watching Wrestling Junkies podcast. We'll talk to you guys soon.